Really?
We'll learn from your lesson.
I know, that's what I say. You know, I'm the crash test dummy of homesteading. I make all the
And
mistakes.
you've been homesteading for how long?
15 years.
So we're Rhenda and Jim with Hardiness Approach, and this is Deborah Niemann, right?
Yes.
Niemann. Niemann.
You got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we first saw you on, well, no, I had seen you, I had your book.
Oh, cool.
And then Justin went to your place, and I went, well, why didn't he say that she does all this stuff? I was like really upset that he didn't say. So I got on my thing and I says, that was Deborah who does da-da-da.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
But our whole premise is to be able to eat real food
Uh-huh.
and exercise and be emotionally well and do it through homesteading.
Awesome. I love that.
And do it in ways that we can age in place. And I heard you say on the video with Justin that your family left and left you to do the 5 hours worth of work in the morning without, and you've hired partners. But what are some of the things that you've put in place in order to age in place? Because you're planning to stay on your 32 acres.
Right.
And have you had to change things, or you obviously are very fit and keep yourself well?
Well, one of the things I know we're going to have to do is we are going to have to get a first floor master bedroom. Because like, that was a huge mistake that we made when we built the house, was that there isn't a first floor master bedroom. There's a tiny little guest room on the first floor that's like 10 by 10 or something. You know, like it is not big at all. And I hurt my back a couple of years ago. I had a slip disc. And there were times I could not go up the stairs at night.
Oh, I had bad knees at a point and couldn't go up them. So
yeah,
so that's definitely something.
So great advice for the younger folks building these nice places that they're building. Think ahead.
right. Yeah.
And it's nice to have that loft or that upstairs, but maybe not the best choice.
Yeah, you definitely need to have a first floor master. Because so that little tiny bedroom, I know what it's like to live in there, because there were days when I couldn't go up the stairs.
Okay.
So so that's what we need to save money. We need to save up to add on a big master bedroom there.
How about some of the chores? What do you still do for chores?
I can't do so. What my husband does a lot of the goat milking now. Because
Is it all by
and
hand?
they do 10 to 20 a day.
Well, it's a little, sometimes it's by hand and sometimes it's with a machine. It kind of depends on how many we're doing. But the big thing is that I found is that, because this was a great idea in the beginning, okay? We had this little, it was a great idea 15 years ago.
They always start that way, don't they?
Right, yeah, so we moved out there, I was 39, he was 43, and we were not as smart as you guys. We were going to be young and amazing forever. And so,
well, we still hope to be.
So we built these milking stands to work with these little Fisher-Price chairs.
Right.
Which was great, we sit on this little tiny Fisher-Price chair and I'm milking the goat. And now it's like, I can't, I could probably do 5 or 6 goats like that, but I can't do more than 10 goats every day, hunched over.
So would you have a bigger stanchion then?
Yeah, what we need to do, what I told him we need to do, because what you see in some of the commercial dairies is actually standing. The goats walk up a ramp.
Right.
And you can just stand
And then
there.
you just stand there and you do it.
Oh,
So
a big ramp.
Yeah, so you just stand there and so there's no bending over. So that is just a huge thing. You've really got to pay attention to the ergonomics of it.
Absolutely. I'm an RN, just retired a few months ago. And I know that the repetition of what we do incorrectly, ergonomically, is going to hurt us in the long run. And so that's why I tell, I try
most
to tell,
of it ends up affecting your back. I mean, just about everything you do wrong, it's going to get to your back at some point.
So I try to tell all the young families who are on YouTube, look at what you're doing now. Make those
Well,
aging in
think it
place
through.
things
If
now.
you could continue to do this for several years, what's it going to do to you?
Right.
And will you be able to continue? So you got to adjust it.
So goats,
Yeah.
what else do you do for chores?
I help with the chickens, so I think chickens are easy. In fact, I
Chickens are
said
easy.
years ago, I'm going to have chickens forever. I don't care if I'm in a wheelchair. I'm going to have chickens.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, I can get out there and take care of the food and the water.
How many do you have?
We have 80 hens and about 5 or 6 roosters.
And they propagate themselves?
Yeah, we
And they're all layers?
yes. Yeah. So we take their eggs, because very few of them ever go broody. Nobody's gone broody this year. And we know that. I mean, there's just broodiness has just been so bred out of chickens.
I know.
And so in the spring, when we were drowning in eggs, that was when we went ahead and we put some in the incubator, and so we hatched about 65 chicks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you
what
sell
breeds
them?
do you have?
Delawares, Barred Rocks,
too.
and New Hampshires.
Okay.
Because we tried so many different breeds, and when I love the Delawares, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it.
love
Oh, yeah.
the
This is the
Delawares.
chicken I have
If
been
you
looking
haven't
for.
tried Delawares, do Delawares.
They're great.
Yeah, they're amazing.
They're easy to catch too because they just hunch down.
Yeah, and the only thing I didn't like about them is that they're white, and all of our chickens are free. Our chickens are free range, so it's not so great for predators. So I'm like, well, they came from Barred Rocks and New Hampshires, so I'm just gonna get all 3 of them, put them together, and see if I can get some that are just as awesome for laying eggs and for, carcass size and stuff, and maybe they won't be white.
So
So how's that going?
You know what? The very first generation, well, if you look on the Delaware Breed Association, they'll tell you exactly what you'll get if you cross them.
oh,
And so I thought that forever I was gonna have, the Barred Rocks, the red chickens, and the white chickens. But apparently after 2 or 3 generations, that all goes out the window, because now I'm getting, like, I've got barred chickens.
they're scrambled eggs.
They are. They're barred, but instead of being black and white, they're black and red. Yeah.
Really?
Some really
And what
pretty
kind are your
colors.
roosters? They are the Barred Rock then, and the
Barred Rock in New Hampshire. Barred Rock in Delaware. I did not wind up with any New Hampshire roosters.
Oh, okay.
So,
Barred Rock and Delaware.
yeah.
Okay.
because years ago, I was like, they never, there are always roosters. When you order pullets, there are always roosters in there. So I ordered nothing but hens, knowing that I'm going to get roosters in there.
And you did.
And there were no New Hampshire roosters in that order when I
Wow.
ordered them.
Wow.
So that's why I don't
Okay.
have any New Hampshire roosters.
Okay. Any other chores? You make cheese. You teach classes.
Yeah.
And that probably has just changed. Well, I do have a question. I was just in a class with Deborah, and you said that Illinois changed their regulations, so nobody can sell raw milk anymore. So what do you do with all your milk? You do the cheese?
Yeah. Well, you can sell it if you're licensed.
Oh, okay.
But it's very expensive to get licensed, and so only 4 people have done it in the whole state.
Oh
That's
my
it.
goodness.
Nobody else can afford it because it's like, and
And
I
you're
mean,
doing that on purpose.
yeah. So we're not selling that anymore. So a lot of what is happening with the milk now is that an awful lot of it's just getting fed to pigs. So
Which is good.
yeah.
I wish that would
Yeah,
be good.
I say pigs have the magical ability to turn milk into bacon.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
So.
you're not selling your cheese, but you're teaching how to make cheese. Okay, cool.
Yep. Yeah, so I still teach people how to make cheese and soap.
So,
And I sell soap too.
and I'm going to take her soap class
Mhm.
online.
Oh, cool.
So
Cool.
it's cool. Because I've watched it done once
Uh-huh.
and then never did it and then got scared.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to do
Yeah.
We actually bought some soap recently that somebody made, and they overlight it or something.
it burns so
Oh,
bad
my
we
goodness.
can't use it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
And I don't know whether, it was a cold method and they didn't let it wait as long as they needed to.
It was just that they put too much lye in there.
Yeah, so we
So-
don't use it.
Yeah, I
It's
can
real
see
pretty.
why. Yeah, and that's why you have to have a digital scale. Because before I made when I was researching how to make soap, I was like, why do you have to have a digital scale? They didn't have a digital scale back in the day, you know? And then I found out why. It's because you really do have to be precise. And making soap historically was like making cheese. You learned it from your parents, you learned it from their parents, and it was very regional. So with soap, if you lived in Indonesia, you were using palm oil or coconut oil.
Yeah.
If you lived in North America, you were using lard or tallow. If you lived in the Mediterranean, you were using olive oil. And that was it. And you had the same containers that you used to make it all the time. So they were being very precise.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
They were being very precise. But they didn't have a digital scale. And so now the thing is, because like each oil has its own different awesome property, you know, like the olive oil is going to be really good for your skin, and the coconut oil is going to cause a lot of lather and clean real well. And so we want to mix them up, you know.
Yeah.
But every oil has a different saponification value.
Right.
And so that's why, like, so you got to be really precise with all that, and you have to use a lye calculator and make sure that you use exactly the right amount.
She's going to teach me.
Good.
Yeah.
Finally.
And that's why I said, like, you got to get the expensive
Expensive.
$30
versus
scale.
20 to
Yeah.
make sure that it's right.
Okay.
Because it was awful. You know what really did me in was the last time that we made soap with the cheap scale, is that because I taught my husband how to do it a few years ago so we could do it together, and he was weighing everything, and when we were pouring it into the molds, it did not fill up the mold. And I'm like, you forgot one of the oils. Which one did you forget? And he's like, I didn't forget any oil. I'm like, it didn't fill the mold, because we know it fills up the mold all the way to the top.
Yeah.
So like we're arguing, and he's like, I didn't forget any. And I'm like, this is lye heavy. Like, we're not going to be able to use this because there's not enough oil in here. And then the next batch, the same thing happened.
Oh.
And it was, and we were arguing again, and on the third batch, when he was weighing something, he saw it started flickering. And that was when we realized it was going out. And like we had 3 ruined batches of soap.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
So we'll go get a good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get one that you can plug into the wall too.
Really?
We'll learn from your lesson.
I know, that's what I say. You know, I'm the crash test dummy of homesteading. I make all the
And
mistakes.
you've been homesteading for how long?
15 years.
15 years.
Yeah, I make all the mistakes, so you don't have to.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't heard the story. What prompted you to start homesteading?
Well, it was just a real gradual evolution. We started out, I grew up eating fast food, convenience food. I was sick all the time.
It's a familiar story.
Yeah, and I never heard anybody talk about the connection between your diet and your health until I was pregnant with my first child. And so I started reading labels and was pretty horrified to discover that my blueberry muffins had no blueberries. I was so mad, you know? And I tell people, I'm like, blueberry muffins are not health food, okay? But that was my first step, was I started making blueberry muffins from scratch.
You found out that there were a lot of lies going on about our food. Okay.
And I didn't get to take your other one, but I was reading it, and it was talking about making food from scratch and doing all of things, and that's what we do.
Okay.
We make everything
So
from
anyway,
scratch.
Yeah.
Blueberry muffins.
Yeah.
Blueberry muffins.
And so we just gradually started, you know, reading more labels, making more things from scratch. And then we started talking about how cool it would be to actually live in the country and start growing our own food organically. And we talked about it for 9 years
Ooh.
before we did it.
Wow.
Yeah, we talked about it for a really long time. And then
And you moved from Chicago.
Mhm,
And she
yeah,
was a
from the
news
suburbs.
reporter in Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and it was like, and 9/11 was one of the things that kind of like made me start thinking about how fragile everything is. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, those guys were actually really dumb. Like, if they would have like blown up a truck on one of those interchanges on the interstates, like that would have created a lot more havoc, because like that would have stopped like everything. Like nobody would be able to get food.
Oh yeah, there's so many
know.
ways to hit us. That was for the news media.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
so
that was.
I was like, we're really vulnerable, you know? And then I said, you know, we've been talking about moving to the country ever since Margaret was 5 years old. She is 14 now. She doesn't have much growing up left to do. Like, if we want our kids to grow up on a farm, we gotta get moving.
Yeah.
And so that was when we really started looking, like, because we had looked off and on, you know, like, oh, let's see if there's any places available now. We could never find anything more than like 2 or 3 acres cut out of a cornfield, and
And you're still cut out of a cornfield.
We're on the across the road from a cornfield.
I know when Justin went, you see all of this and then this. I love that.
I love the way he presented that.
That was great. It was great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And did your husband have to give him his job?
No.
They're 100 miles south of Chicago.
Yeah, he teaches at Joliet Junior College, so we
that's
basically
right.
like drew a circle around Joliet, and we're like, okay, what's an hour away? So the stuff we were looking at stuff that was like an hour north, east, west, and south, and this was just the place we found that
That's great.
had everything that we wanted.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking
You're
the time.
welcome.
So, Deborah, you have a website,
Yeah, thriftyhomesteader.com.
okay? And if they will go on there, they can give you their email, and you will send them newsletters?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How often do your newsletters come out?
My newsletters come out every Thursday.
Okay.
And what I've gotten now is that if you sign up for my newsletter, I'll send you my guide to preserving the harvest, and also a 25% off coupon for taking any of my Thrifty Homesteader classes online.
Okay, so she teaches classes, and we are Jim and Rhenda with Hardiness Approach, and we are on YouTube. We are now on Instagram.
Yep.
And we're on Facebook and putting our website together. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. It was a lot of fun chatting.
There we go.